Welcome to Chapter 4 of the Wyatt 6 Invades AEW. Now to recap, Chapter 3, we saw a few interesting developments occur. TBS champion Mercedes Mone was taken out by Nikki Cross, aka Abby the Witch. The Blackpool Combat Club looks to take revenge on the Wyatt 6 for taking out Jon Moxley. Bryan Danielson mentions Bray Wyatt in his acknowledgement of what the Wyatt 6 is doing, and Taylor Rotunda does not receive this well. This then leads to a match between the two on Collision, where all hell breaks loose, especially backstage. The match is interrupted by Mercy and Huskus, who attack Bryan Danielson. Claudio makes his way out to try and save him. We see on the Titantron, Erick Rowan is beating up Wheeler Yuta, and he's going to hit him with his mallet, and then the screen cuts black, ending the show. The social media accounts of AEW report immediately that they have footage of what happened when the cameras went off the air. Yuta was not struck by the hammer, but was found with significant injuries in the parking lot after a vicious attack by Uncle Howdy. The incident will be addressed by Blackpool Combat Club on Dynamite. Bryan and Claudio make their entrance to the ring quickly and grab microphones. Bryan begins. This has gone too far. First Moxley, now Yuta. We will be damned if you get to the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club. Claudio talks. As much as you think we are scared, we are far from it. There's very little known about you, and there's much to learn, but you aren't all-knowing. You don't have the faintest clue of what we're going to do to you. Bryan adds, but we'll say this. The chaos we have planned to inflict upon you may need more than a 20x20 wrestling ring. So here it is, the Wyatt 6 versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Anarchy in the arena. The crowd erupts. Claudio speaks. We are ready to tear down wherever you may be hiding and beat you so badly you'll need to add feeding tubes to those masks you hide behind. Bryan continues. Not only are we two of the best wrestlers to step foot in this ring, but we are also some of the most hardcore hellraisers this company has ever seen, and you messed up big time by coming after us. Uncle Howdy's sound plays. Smoke surrounds a lantern, with Uncle Howdy's glove holding the handle. Howdy laughs. He then begins to speak. What is anarchy? Is it something to fear, or a crutch to lean on? What is anarchy as viewed in this reality? No, in this world. You see, we didn't make this world the way it is. You did. Anarchy is a concept you don't understand. It is a wonderful gift to share and to receive. For once your mind dives into anarchy, you are truly unstoppable. I am unstoppable. Howdy laughs. He continues. We are unstoppable. The rest of the Wyatt 6 walk in. Consider your challenge accepted. At All In, we shall all commune in the sweet symphony of anarchy. But the real challenge is surviving. The camera pans to Huskus, who unmasks himself to be Joe Gacy. He speaks. Witness a morsel of the chaos we will serve on Collision, if you dare. Uncle Howdy's sound plays again, and the feed cuts out. Back from break, the commentators announce Tony Khan has made the match official. Anarchy in the arena between the Wyatt 6 versus the Blackpool Combat Club. They wonder what the odds the BCC have to survive, the handicap that is 4 versus 2. On that week's Collision, two jobbers are in the ring awaiting their opponents, the Wyatt 6. Mercy, otherwise known as Dexter Lumis, and Huskus, also known as Joe Gacy, make an eerie entrance to the ring. They unmask to the crowd's awe. The bell sounds and Gacy immediately attacks the first talent. He continues a relentless attack. Lumis jumps down from the apron and crawls underneath the ring. He pops out the other end and takes down the second jobber. He puts him through the announce table while the match continues. Lumis returns to the ring apron to tag in. They hit a double team move and Lumis pins for the victory. The lights go out. Uncle Howdy sound plays again. Howdy and Rowan are now in the ring. Rowan prepares to hit the jobber with his mallet. Bryan and Claudio run out to save him. The Wyatt Six overcome the BCC. Suddenly, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland run out of the tunnels with weapons. The Wyatt Six run off to the entrance ramp. Ospreay grabs a mic. "You thought we were done? Nah, we're rejuvenated and ready to kick your ass. See you Sunday." The crowd cheers. The match is set. The Blackpool Combat Club, Ospreay and Swerve, versus the Wyatt Six in the Anarchy in the arena. On the All In pre-show, it is announced that Mercedes Mone will return to AEW on the special Battle of the Belts. No challenger has been named. Nikki's laugh sounds. She then appears on the screen holding the TBS Championship. The announcers discuss what Nikki wants and how Mercedes and AEW will respond. It is main event time, which means it is time for Anarchy in the arena. No rules, false count anywhere, anything goes. The camera pans to show the backstage area is empty. Wrestlers and staff are in an undisclosed safe location to let these two groups tear each other apart. The BCC, Will, and Swerve walk backstage when they bump fists and split off. Bryan runs into Rowan. He tries speaking with him. "Look, I know you've had a traumatic past and are working through things, but we used to be close. The Erick I know wouldn't condone this. We need you back. This doesn't have to happen." Rowan takes off his mask. He looks at his hammer, then back to Bryan. He says, "Run." Lumis attacks Bryan from behind. Rowan and Lumis beat down Bryan. Swerve jumps out of nowhere to begin to fight off Rowan. Swerve tries overpowering Rowan, but he can't do it. They beat each other up, where Rowan gets the upper hand with a chair. Lumis continues to beat down Bryan when Bryan delivers a low blow to change the momentum. He grabs a trash can and nails Lumis in the head. The four of them continue to fight. A camera finds Will Ospreay finding the back of Joe Gacy. He runs up and attacks him from behind. Will unmasks him and it's not Gacy. Will is confused and apologizing. Gacy runs out with the cane and smashes Will on the back. Gacy continues to lay in on Will. His back begins to bleed. Another camera shows Claudio finding an elevator that opens and where Yuta comes out. "Yuta?" Claudio asks, confused. He collapses to the ground. Claudio runs to check on him, but the lights go out. Uncle Howdy speaks. "There you are." He laughs. The lights come back on, dimmed, and Yuta is gone. Claudio is baffled, and Howdy decks him from behind. Howdy aggressively attacks Claudio. He grabs a chair and strikes him on the back multiple times. He then places the edge of the chair onto Claudio's throat and rams him and the chair into one of the walls in the backstage area. Claudio writhes in pain and coughing uncontrollably. Howdy goes for a pin. The ref counts 1, 2, and Claudio kicks out. Howdy smashes the chair against his back one more time and leaves him to suffer in pain. The camera returns to show Lumis and Rowan both attacking Swerve. Out of nowhere, Bryan dives off of a high place and takes them all out. Bryan goes for a pin on Lumis, but he kicks out at only 1. The camera returns to Gacy and Will, and they have made their way to the parking lot. Will fights to break his grasp, but Gacy keeps control. He whips Will into the car. Will's back is bleeding and bruised. Gacy brings Will up to the car and gets him into position for a suplex. Will counters it and hits a neckbreaker on the roof of a car. Both men are stunned, and it's unsure who got more from that desperation move. The camera goes back to Bryan and Lumis fighting. Bryan gives Lumis an uppercut. He then gets him into position for a pile driver. Rowan stops it from happening, delivering a big boot. He goes for a pin on Bryan, but Bryan kicks out. Rowan picks up Bryan for a giant scoop slam, but Swerve pulls him back to safety. They both kick Rowan in the gut. They deliver a double DDT. Lumis comes back, but Swerve delivers a spinning back elbow and knocks him to the ground. Bryan and Swerve cover Rowan for a pin. The ref counts 1, and the Rowan powers out of both of them, recovering quickly. Will continues to kick Gacy, who is grounded. Will shouts at him to quit, but Gacy doesn't respond. The lights flicker. Gacy begins to laugh. Howdy hits Will from behind. Howdy and Gacy then kick Will on the ground. Howdy nods to Gacy and then leaves them. Rowan has Bryan's arms back and Lumis delivers some body shots. Swerve hits Rowan from behind to allow Bryan to break free. Lumis kicks Swerve in the gut and whips him into a barricade. Bryan hits him in the back with a chair multiple times. He then turns and hits Rowan on the head. Lumis staggers off into the grill position and Bryan follows. Back to Gacy and Will. Gacy has 2 chairs set up next to each other and puts Will into a powerbomb position. Will counters and Gacy lands on both chairs. Will regains some strength and then hits Gacy with the hidden blade. He goes for a pin. 1, 2, Gacy kicks out. Will is shocked that it didn't work. He Irish whips Gacy into the ambulance. And the lights flicker a bit and then go out. Gacy has disappeared. Will looks around, confused, and screams. He begins to exit the parking lot. We're back to Rowan and Swerve, who are exchanging blows. Swerve hits a jawbreaker on Rowan and chop blocks him behind his knee. The lights flicker. Howdy blindsides Swerve, knocking him down, and then delivers ferocious kicks. Swerve catches one of his kicks and counters with a dragon screw kick, knocking Howdy to the ground. Swerve turns his attention to Rowan, who has his hammer. He swings but misses and gets hit with a super kick from Swerve. Swerve picks up the hammer but then is speared by Gacy out of nowhere. Howdy gets up and laughs. He nods to Rowan and Gacy and disappears. Back to Lumis and Bryan, who are battling on the entrance ramp. The crowd erupts, seeing the competitors for the first time. Lumis can't catch a break from Bryan's unrelenting attacks. They battle their way to the timekeeper's area. Bryan grabs the ring bell. The lights flicker. Howdy emerges from under the ring. He locks eyes with Bryan. Bryan immediately rushes Howdy, who misses wildly with the bell. Howdy takes advantage of this by hitting with a uranagi on the ring apron. Bryan writhes in pain. Howdy helps Lumis up and laughs. They begin to clear off the commentator's table. The crowd's attention has veered off of them though. They get Bryan in position for a double powerbomb, Lumis lifting and Howdy assisting. Before they can commence with the move, Claudio jumps off of the fan barricade and takes them both out, saving his Blackpool Combat Club partner. All of them are laid out. Meanwhile, Gacy and Rowan continue to beat down Swerve. Will rushes in with a barrage of attacks to both of them, but is easily overpowered. Gacy holds up Will as Rowan sizes him up. Rowan seizes forward with a spinning wheel kick, but Will pulls Gacy in the way and is taken out. Rowan looks on surprised. Swerve hits Rowan in the back with a cane. He throws one to Will, and they begin taking turns taking shots to Rowan's back as they make their way out to the entrance ramp. On the ramp, they continue to beat down Rowan. Gacy comes back in with his own cane and intervenes. Gacy focuses on Will. Gacy and Will are close to the edge of the stage. Will hobbles to his feet. Gacy sizes up his cane to finish Will off. He lunges forward and Will ducks. Joe turns around to see Swerve launch himself off Will's back and delivers a crossbody to Gacy off of the stage. The crowd chants, "Holy." Will and Rowan go down to the ringside area. Rowan delivers a back elbow to Will. As he goes for another strike, Will dodges underneath and does a moonsault off the apron and onto Rowan. Will lands on his feet and slides into the ring. He bounces off of the ropes and using all the speed he can muster, planches outside of the ring, taking out Lumis, Bryan, and Claudio. Will gets up to his feet and he screams to the crowd, but he's then taken by surprise by vicious forearm from Howdy. He grounds and pounds Will, causing him to come busted open. He wiped the blood from Will's face with his uncovered left hand and stares menacingly at it and then laughs. He then pats Will's head with his own blood. Howdy gets up and picks Will to his feet. Bryan swiftly comes in with an aerial attack to Howdy. Will goes back to the ground and Howdy tries to retreat, but Bryan chases him. Lumis recovers and targets a stunned Will. Will begins to fight to break free, but is overpowered as Rowan comes to his aid. Rowan and Lumis get Will into a double chokeslam position, but he's then saved by Claudio. Claudio throws Rowan into the ring. Lumis and Will keep trading shots on the outside. Claudio delivers a huge body-slam to Rowan and proceeds to swing him over 20 times. As this happens, Bryan has Howdy by his hair, but he breaks away and then forcefully pushes him into the metal ring post, and it appears his head may have ricocheted off of it. Bryan, stunned, walks into Howdy's grasp, and he gets hit with a Sister Abigail to the outside. Howdy laughs, but sees Claudio is going for a pin on Rowan. He runs in to break the count. Howdy then puts the mandible claw on Claudio. Claudio is fading. Will runs in and delivers a hidden blade to Howdy out of nowhere with all the energy he has, breaking the submission. The submission is still locked in, despite Howdy appearing unconscious. The lights flicker and then go out. After a brief moment, the lights come back on to show Howdy and Claudio have disappeared. Will is looking around confused. Lumis tackles Will to the mat. He picks him up and throws him into the corner with great strength. Will bounces off and Lumis delivers an overhead belly-to-back suplex. As Lumis rises, he gets hit by Bryan's dropkick and falls into the corner. Bryan delivers 2 more running drop kicks. As he goes for a third, Rowan trips Bryan. Rowan pulls Bryan out of the ring and whips him into the barricade back and forth. He then throws him back into the ring. He pulls a bat from underneath. Lumis and Rowan surround Bryan. Will comes in and dodges Rowan's bat, but is met with a running high knee from Lumis. Rowan cracks Will on the back with the bat. Rowan orders Lumis to finish off Bryan with the silence. Lumis puts him into the submission. Bryan struggles, building strength to try to break free. The lights flicker and Howdy's sound plays. Howdy appears on the screen in a high scaffold, prepared to deliver Sister Abigail to Claudio. He kisses Claudio on his head, who then breaks free and delivers a stiff shot to Howdy. Out of nowhere, Nikki jumps onto Claudio's back and she viciously rakes Claudio's eyes. He screams in pain. Howdy delivers a massive headbutt to Claudio. Howdy looks over the ledge and laughs. He looks at the camera and says, "This all could have been avoided, but sick is what we must be." He then pushes Claudio off the ledge, who lands in an entranceway spotlight. Medical swarm in to check on him. Howdy and Nikki laugh at the carnage they've created. Bryan looks up at the screen with despair in his eyes. Rowan strikes Bryan's back with the bat. Bryan continues his struggle. Will runs back in and makes one last stand to take out Rowan, but he gets caught and is slammed down with a chokeslam. Rowan then reinforces Lumis' submission with the bat. Bryan begins to fade and he loses consciousness. The referee calls the match, awarding the victory to the Wyatt 6. The lights go out. On the ramp, we see Wyatt's chair and lantern. Howdy and Nikki make their way out, while Lumis and Rowan leave the ring and walk up the ramp. Gacy climbs out of the crater he and Swerve left earlier in the match. They pose together to end All In. AEW has seen extreme Anarchy in the Arena matches before, but this one was sickening. If we dare, let's look back at some of the carnage we just witnessed. And that'll do it for chapter 4. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.